friends, it's Miss Susanna again, and we're going to be doing a little bit more handwriting today. You all know this book, and today we are turning to page 51. So that is a 5-1. And we're going to be working on lowercase j. You remember that there are capital letters or uppercase letters, capital letters, and then there are lowercase letters. And today we're working on lowercase j. And just like last time, we were working on the letter Y last time, and we talked about whether it was a tall, a small, or a fall letter. And let's review. A tall letter, let's see if we can find a tall letter. Here we go. Here's K. K is a tall letter. It starts above the line and comes down. Over here we see D and L. Those are also tall letters. A small is something like an O or an A or a C or an E. Our small letters stay between the lines. They're just small and they're tucked in there. And then our fall letters, like our Y and our J, falls below the line. So we have tall that starts above, small that stays inside, and fall that has like a big long tail coming down. Okay, so last time we were working on Y and we talked about the lines, and I used the word angle, and I wanted to make sure that you guys remember the different lines that actually Miss A has talked about in art class. There are straight lines, curvy lines, and angle lines. Do you remember doing those hand motions and talking about lines in art class? I'll go over it again. There are straight lines, like that's a straight line and that's a straight line. Curvy lines, you go like that, that's a curve. And there are angle lines, a little bit like our sliding Y lines. A slide is at an angle, and so are our lines when we write the letter Y. Now the letter J is going to have a different kind of line. Does that look to you like a straight line? That doesn't look super straight to me. This part is straight, but when we get to the bottom of the fall, is that an angle line like our Y? No. What does that look like to you? Does that maybe look like a curve line? Yeah, it looks like a curve to me. So we're working with a letter that's a fall, and at the bottom it's got a curved line. Now one more detail about our lowercase j is that up on top we make a dot, like an I. It's a dot on our j. This young lady here says, "Dots for you," meaning she's giving us all our dots to use on our letter J. She says, "Dots for you." Well, thanks, little lady. We will use those dots. So first of all, we're going to make our straight line. That is a fall line that falls below the bottom line. We have the upper line, the top line, and the bottom line. We're going to start just by making our straight line come down. So I'm going to try that next door on my own. I trace it, and then I write it. But we're not done yet. We've got to add something. We've got to add our curve at the bottom. It's just like a little monkey tail. So we're going to trace our straight line and add our curve. And down here, this little word says turn. That's another word we could use to describe what we're writing here at the bottom of our fall line. Our straight falling line down to a tail does a curve or a turn. Okay? So I'm going to write that here. Now that I've traced it, I traced it and I write it. Okay? Straight fall and a curve. And now what am I missing up here? Yeah, I'm missing my dot. Just over here, this says dot. D-O-T, dot. So I'm going to trace this, curve it on the bottom, and make my dot. And that's a lowercase j, okay? Then we come down to the bottom of the page, we trace it and dot it, and then we write it on our own. Trace it, we fall below the bottom line, and we make a curve on the bottom. Just like a monkey's tail curves on the bottom. And don't forget our dot. Dots for you. She gave us so many dots to use. Let's use our dots. Straight falling line with a curve and a dot. Trace it and I write it. And trace it and write it. And trace it and write it. You can finish out the rest. And then I have my delicious juice. Because that's J. It makes a j sound. And if you haven't got your book handy, or if you did finish up your book and you want to keep on practicing your J's, you can grab a paper with some lines on it, if you've got some of those printed out. And let's use our lines here. We're going to start our line, and we drop way below the bottom line with our straight fall and our curve at the bottom. And then we don't forget our dot, right? Fall and a curve and a dot. Fall and a curve and a dot. Great, and you can fill out all these lines. And again, if you don't have a paper with lines on it, you can make your own. And you can have a grown-up help you with this part if you'd like. So I've got my wicked tall line here. I made an extra line. Sometimes we have different lines that we're writing in. And say let's pretend I was working on capital J. Now a capital letter is usually a tall. So it's going to start way up here, come all the way down. And that's a capital J. But if we're making our lowercase j, we're going to start at our dotted line. It's going to be a fall and a curve. And we don't forget our dot. Fall and a curve and a dot. Fall and a curve and a dot. Big long monkey tail and a dot. I'm just using these first dots as a starting place. You don't have to use these dots. I was just making a middle line. But fall and a curve and a dot. Basically, we could take out these dots, and you could simply start in the middle of your lines. A fall and a curve and a dot on top. What we don't really want to do is start way up here. Because up at the very top, that's where an uppercase or a capital J is going to live. But we are making a lowercase j. So it's a fall letter. It's not a tall letter. It's a fall. So fall and a curve and a dot. You can fill it on up, okay? And you work on your J's, and I think they're going to be just great. And I'll see you next time, kiddos. I miss you tons. I hope you're doing well. Go out and get some beautiful sunshine. Stay healthy, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, kids.